no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
All right, Wednesday, May 29th. Trying to get these technical difficulties ironed out. It's another pay-per-view this week, 5-on-5 in Riyadh. I will admit I'm getting pretty psyched for it, even though the main reason I was psyched for it was Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Bivol is fighting someone I've never heard of. So that 5-on-5 undercard, though, it's exciting. And I know this is another pay-per-view. So boxing fans are asked to reach into their pockets. H Money Mob. What's going on, brother? It is always good to have you, Jeremy Francis. Let's go. Jeremy, using your real name now. No more tech, dumb dad. H Money Mob. Big Bang Zhang all day, huh? You got Zhang knocking out Deontay Wilder. Well, that's the main reason why I wanted to get on here. Got my name on my tag now, but I'm still tech dumb dad. Yeah, you're not tech dumb dad, but you threw me off. I know your name, and I saw Jeremy on there. But it's a big card. So we got a big card. By the way, I don't even remember what the cost of the card is. It's probably $60. But that's the fight. That, I mean, a lot of people are excited for Dubois and Ergovich. Ergovich is kind of a wild card. He never fights, so you know what Dubois is going to do. I don't know. Ergovich is 17-0, 14 KOs, but he hasn't had a real fight against someone meaningful since Big Bang. So H Money knocking out Deontay Wilder. Man. Well, right now, Wilder is at plus 135. Zhang is minus 165. So Big Bang is the favorite. He is the favorite in the fight. I don't know. It's hard to base. I need to learn how to put polls up here, but it's hard to base who's going to win because if you go by their last few fights, Deontay Wilder looked like he didn't want to be in the ring against Joseph Parker. Then Parker goes on to fight Zhang and gets knocked down twice, but besides that, he dominated the fight. So you know what you're going to get with Big Bang. Big Bang doesn't move around. He's 41. Deontay's 38. Think about that. 38 years old and 41. Man, Jay Rich, my man. I missed out on the last couple lives. Couldn't miss another. Yeah, well, I go on at different times. So, it's not your fault, man. You're out there driving trucks and everything. Hey, George, I hear you, man. Life pops up. Now, Raymond Ford, that's Jersey. So Ford all the way. Ammo Williams and Shiraz is going to be a good fight. But Raymond Ford is from Camden, New Jersey. So I'm looking for him to defend that featherweight strap. Sid White, yo. Jay, I originally had Zhang. I'm starting to lean toward Wilder. So, but why though? That's what, because I get people that root for Wilder and they're going to say he's got the power, but that's what they said when he fought Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker is a completely different fighter than Big Bang. Joseph Parker moved. Big Bang is stuck in mud. So Big Bang is not going to move anywhere in that fight. Daryl Alexander, interesting fight. Wilder versus Zhang. I think Zhang has the better technique, but Wilder has that equalizer. That's the thing, though. Will he throw it? And Big Bang, someone school me, but I don't remember him ever getting hurt in a fight where he was like stunned, wobbled. I don't remember. I haven't seen every single fight of his, but I don't remember that happening. I think the Jean Wilder Fest could turn into a snooze fest. Imagine that. But it's true because Wilder and Parker was not exciting. Zhang and Parker was not really exciting. So this one, you know what, Jeremy? I don't think so because Zhang will not move. He's going to be right there. He's going to be right there in the pocket. He doesn't move. That's not his game. And Deontay Wilder doesn't stick and move. So I think it's going to be a good fight. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Ray, by the way, I got Bivol by decision. Ray Ford, Wilder, Ergovich, parlay. Ooh, plus 1470. That's because Wilder must. Is that really? That's how much that parlay is? Are the other ones by decision as well? We'll see. Yeah, Sid. But does he? He doesn't gas out that bad. And Wilder, he's gassed out in some of his fights too, his recent fights. So, you know what? Before we keep talking about this card, I gotta put something up here. Um, somebody posted this. Inevitable D Block. So shout out to you on Instagram. Posted this and Paulie. Let me put that. Paulie had it up too on his X. So someone put creating the worst prize fighter, and they took attributes of everyone's worst attribute. And Paulie put it up there because if you look, you see Paulie Malignaggi power. So Paulie laughed at that because everybody talks about that. But I just thought this was interesting. The worst prize fighter, Hasim Rahman Luck. Yeah, Amir Khan Chin. Yeah, that's not a bad pick. Ricky Hatton's skin toughness. There's been a lot of bleeders. Boom Boom Mancini was a bleeder. Yuriokis Gamboa arm reach. He does have some short arms. Alfredo Angulo hand speed. Joe Calzaghe fist durability. Deontay Wilder leg strength. He does have some skinny legs, but I don't know. Bermain Stavern stamina. No, there's got to be fighters with worse stamina than Bermain. I mean, Bermain went 12 rounds when he defended his belt against Deontay Wilder. Adrian Broner punch count. That's a good one. You talk about a guy that won't let his hands go. You see the Paulie Malignaggi power. Antonio Margarito defense and butterbean footwork. So I thought this was funny. So that's creating the worst prize fighter. I don't know, man. I mean, I like to have the best attributes. I want to see one creating the best prize fighter, but the worst one, I thought this was pretty funny. I thought it was funny too because Paulie put it up. They're obviously mocking Paulie's power or lack of power, so he thought it was funny. So Inevitable D Block posted this. I reposted it. So there you go. That's the worst prize fighter you could make. So there you go. Yeah, it's I thought it was funny. All right, so Adam, I'm a fan of Wilder and Zhang, but Zhang might be my favorite fighter. Favorite fighter. All right. What's up, Big Bruce? All right, Jay, Ergovich by KO. Others are just money line, and of course, Bivol decision. Interesting. That's interesting. Butterbean or Wilder footwork. Yeah, that's a close one. I'm gonna give it to Butterbean because I mean he was 300 plus pounds. Wilder key. It's so crazy how skinny his legs are. And Zach, this was a good one. Who would they add for worst? Who had the worst IQ? Man, that's real. That's really hitting below the belt there. But let me get this in here for anybody. And I just like to have one person at a time. If anyone wants to jump in, talk about Wilder Zhang, or talk about any other fight on that day. Yeah, Adam, agreed. It's a damn shame Zhang didn't start fighting big fights till he was 39. He was really I gotta say mismanaged because he started late, but he wasted a lot of time. I saw they just signed the Usyk Fury. Now it's Usyk versus Fury 2, December 21st in Riyadh. So we got that rematch. And in October, you got Sebastian Fundora against Errol Spence. So those are the interesting fights that were signed. Fury and Usyk. Fury and Usyk Rachel Donaire. Oh, look at this. We got some royalty in the house. Nonito Donaire's manager, wife first, manager. That is royal. Everybody's royalty, but she's really extra special royalty. Nonito Donaire, one of the great fighters of the generation. When I was with Pro Box, I had a chance to interview him. And you want to look at somebody's career, you want to look at a Hall of Famer's career, and he's still doing it. Uh, amazing, amazing fighter. The fighters of the lower weight classes, they don't get the shine they should, but great fighter and great people right there behind him. So Nonito Donaire's wife, Rachel, is in the house. It is good to have you in the house. Rachel, who you have in that main event? Wilder or Zhang? Or is that not your favorite fight on the card? I think that's mine. Honestly, Ergovic and Dubois. I, I mean, Dubois, who was the cruiserweight that a guy that was a cruiserweight that he struggled with, got dropped 2 or 3 times. I thought he was going to get knocked out, and the guy ran out of gas. Did not look good in that fight. And then he had the Usyk fight, which he didn't have a glorious ending in that one either. I know that there was the low blow, or was it a low blow? Yeah, Nonito Donaire definitely one of. Now you saw when I had this up there, creating the worst prize fighter. You didn't see anything about Nonito Donaire. Nonito was a great fighter. Is a great fighter. H Money, you got Ergovic over Dubois. I would favor Ergovic too, but he doesn't fight. That's the only thing. He doesn't fight. Ray Ford, yeah, that's a good fight, Jay. Ray Ford, Jersey. So I'm looking forward to Jersey winning this one. But this is a pay-per-view, so the link is out there. Jeremy, feel free to jump on. I want to hear who you guys have. Is it Wilder? Is it Big Bang? And why? I really don't know. If you base it on Wilder's last fight, where he didn't throw any punches and he didn't look like he wanted to be in the ring, how can he win this fight? He's saying all the right things. He's saying he's rejuvenated. Hey, Jeremy, yeah, man, you have to. Yeah, you have to. He's saying he's rejuvenated. He's saying all the right things, but fighters always say, how many fighter interviews have you seen before a fight? I've done hundreds. They all say the same things. Best camp of my life. I'm ready. I'm 100%. Of course, they're going to say that. Then you find out later when there's issues. So we'll see. We'll see. So Jay Rich, same here. That and Emma Williams. It is a good card. It's a good card. Joe Joyce beat up Dubois with a jab. Yeah. Wait, did he beat? Yeah. Yeah, Joe Joyce, man. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to get on your PC. Now that's what I don't know how much this pay-per-view is. I'm assuming it's $60, $70. And now we never find out. Sid White, 24 pounds in England. I don't know what the conversion is. I'm bad at math anyway. Well, that's not Nonito, and that's his better half. But yes, I'm sure Nonito is not far behind. Jay, well, that's curious because I believe Zhang in his last fight was a little heavier than he was. Let's see, when he fought when he fought Joyce, he was 278 the first fight, 287 the second, and 291 against Parker. That 291 was a career high. So really no. Oh, shoot. Hang on. This Nonito, Rachel's using her. Look at this. Then we got 2 legends in the house. Man, honored. But yeah, I thought that Zhang came in way too heavy against Parker. I mean, 291, he's almost 300 pounds. And that's 13 pounds more than he weighed against Joyce in the first fight. He was 277 against Ergovich. So we'll see. I think if he's in the 270s, but it's hard. These guys get older and they just put on weight. So, Wilder's going to come in. Wilder's always come in at about 220, under 220. He was 213 against Parker, 214 against Helenius. Now, the last two Fury fights were anomalies. He was 238 and 231. But, he'll come in probably under 220. He's fighting a big dude. But it's just it's hard for me. I mean, Deontay got. I mean, I didn't think he won a round. One of the judges had it 120, 108, and I was rooting for Deontay in that fight. So he's had one fight in 23, one in 22, one in 21. So, I mean, he hasn't had a knockout. Well, besides a Helenius fight, the King Kong Ortiz fight in 2019. And I thought he was losing every round in that fight until he knocked out Ortiz in the 7th round. So, we'll see. So you're gonna have to see what he weighs in at, huh? I'm rooting for Deontay. I think that a lot of questions. Can Zhang take his power? But is he gonna throw his power? I got you, H Money. That is the champ. And again, boxing royalty in the chat. Maybe I should start coming on earlier. Nonito, who you got in these fights? Would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, curious to see what's your favorite fight on the card. And Deontay Wilder, again, he's saying all the right things. It's hard to see. It's hard to see him winning this fight. Zach M, like and subscribe. Hey, shout out to everybody. I'm over 8,000 subscribers. That's big. That's big. 8,000. Moving up to 10. Was talking Jeremy, man, maybe I'll drop my picks. Yeah, you should. Zhang looks a lot thinner in the workout in Saudi. Now, I hope he doesn't come in at like 250, 260. So, Rachel, Nonita, we can tape it while we're in LA tomorrow, just a short one. All right. So there you go. So Jeremy, if you get on, feel free to jump in. I'll drop the link again. This is going to be a short live. I used to do. Agreed. Oh, that's not it. Wilder better not do that rock back ropey dopey on no, because Zhang is a big dude, and you know how he's going to fight. He's not going to move. He's not going to move at all. Jeremy,
what's up, George?
What's going on, man? You got your
Hey,
real
how's it
name in
going?
there.
Yeah. I figured I'd drop it in for a night.
Well, it threw me off when I saw it. I was like, wait.
I thought I'd mess with you.
Is that the Jeremy? Yeah, man. It's nice to see your real name in there. Did you make a pick yet for Wilder and Zhang?
Man, to be honest with you, that's like third on my list of interest. Actually,
Ooh,
of
give me
this
your first
card.
two.
Well, the lighter guys, man. I want to see what Emma Williams does against Shiraz, and I want to see Ford, man. I want to see Ford. He's impressive. Nick Ball is not a chump, man. So this is going to be a great fight. I think that might be fight of the night.
Yeah, I'm always rooting for the Jersey guys. So
I'm not interested in the Bivol fight at all. I think he walks the dog on him.
Who's he fighting? I've never heard of the guy.
Exactly. So I had to look him up, and I couldn't find much on him. But no, Bivol will box his ears off. It might go the distance because Bivol fights can do that when he settles into a groove and he's just content with boxing your ears off. I think sometimes that's one of the weaknesses I see in Bivol. Maybe not a weakness, but a tell that he's reluctant to go get people sometimes.
He is.
After
He's
he's
very
landed
reluctant.
his hardest shots and they don't do what he wants them to do, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I better be content to just box and move." But yeah, I'm not interested in that fight either, to be honest. I mean, I'm watching all of them, but uh, dude, the Williams fight and the Ford Ball fight to me are the two. They might be the best fights of the night. I don't see Dubois and Ergovich is interesting, but just from a size and style standpoint, that could turn into a clinch fest, though.
Yeah, I'm not very excited about that one. I mean, it's heavyweight, so weights always get the eyeballs, but
I
it,
don't understand I mean, I get it because he's big and intimidating, I guess, but I don't understand all the hype around Ergovich necessarily. I think I'm not saying he's overrated because I just don't think we've seen enough to rate him the way people are like, oh, he's coming up on Usyk and Fury, and I don't see that. I
well,
haven't
no,
seen
you're
that
right.
yet.
He's rated. He's been number one. It's like that's what he's been living off of. He got that number one ranking, and he was mandatory, and
Yeah,
he
you got to
hasn't
look
fought
at
anyone since he beat Zhang. And Zhang, that fight was close. A lot of people thought Zhang won it. That's
and
the
you got
last
to
time he fought someone that was live.
uh, uh-huh. And you got to look at who he beat to get that number one spot. Heavyweights aren't that thick until you know, it's not that great of a division until you get to that top five, you know. It's really not. It's really mixed up there from say 6 to 15. Anybody could beat anybody, I think, on any given night.
I agree. I agree. Um, yeah, the Wilder fight is going to be the one that people probably the casuals are looking at. And
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
curious, people pick like if you're picking Wilder, I get it, but you can't really base it. You can only base it on hope. You can't base it on what he's done recently.
To me, this is a 50-50 fight simply because of the performances they've had recently. I don't see how you can lean one way or the other, to be honest. You don't know you don't know who you're going to get, but what we've seen in their last outings, if you go off of that, which is what you go by what you've done lately. What have you done for me lately? And Wilder hasn't looked good. I mean, what's his best fight since the Fury losses? His best victory? It's that Hellenius knockout, right?
That's his only victory
Yeah, come on. Like,
since
what are we really
Fury.
talking about here?
So yeah, it's.
Not to
I
take
mean
away from his career,
That Parker fight, he looked terrible. He looked terrible.
he was scared, and that was I was like, what is going on? Like I've never seen him so reluctant to throw the right hand. He was so scared to throw that right hand from early on.
Which is crazy because Parker's not a big puncher. Not he's not. I mean, he's got good power, but he doesn't have that Anthony Joshua concussive power. So to be hesitant to throw against Parker, now he's fighting Zhang, who dropped Parker twice. Those are like his only two good moments in the fight. I think it was twice.
Yep.
He dropped him twice, and he was just stuck in the mud the rest of the time.
Yeah, and
Zhang.
Parker ended up boxing his ears off.
But you know what? I think though, I think you might have said either you or Jay said this may not be a good fight. I think Zhang's not going to move. So and Deontay doesn't move. So I think they're both going to be right in front of each other.
Unless
And
we get the same versions we got the last time we saw them fight, right? So you get a gun shy Wilder who refuses to throw and kind of moves around, makes Zhang miss, gasses Zhang out. And then you got to if this goes 6 rounds, it's going 10. I'm here to tell you, and it's going to be the 6 through 10 is going to be boring as shit.
is this a 10 or a 12? It's a 10.
I think it's a 10, right?
Well, that's good.
It's not for a title.
No, but I feel
But
like
sometimes they do, yeah.
there's so many 12-round fights now that aren't
Sometimes
title
they,
fights. So
yeah, that's
hopefully it's a
weird to
10.
me. Yeah, it would benefit both fighters if it was 10, and us too if it goes past 6. Because I'm telling you, if it goes to the 7th round, do you really think they're gonna up the volume and try to bang it out from 7 through 10 or 12? I don't think so. It'll be a
Yeah.
lot of one shots, hug, lean on each other.
I don't remember ever seeing Zhang like seriously hurt in a fight. I don't. He hasn't fought a lot of big punchers, but
That's the one
Ergovich
thing.
didn't have him hurt. I
Uh,
don't remember a moment where he was like really hurt, like wobbling, doing the dance.
well, even in the losses, there's no one that Wilder has fought that he hasn't hurt. He's hurt everyone he's ever fought. Even Fury, he knocked him down multiple times in those
Hmm.
fights. So, you know, if anybody can hurt Zhang, he can. But you got to throw it, man. It was such a lackluster performance his last time out. To me, it seemed a psychological thing, and those are harder to get past than the physical things, fixing things in the gym, in my opinion. If you are mentally gun shy, now who knows? With the way we talk about Fury and how much damage he took in those Wilder fights has had a lasting effect on him. It's not like Wilder didn't take a lot of damage, and he took some damage from Fury. Uh, so maybe there's cracks in both their granite chins now, and they got to be a lot more careful, and that makes you more gun shy, and that can get in your head, especially whenever you used to be a guy that could just drop anybody with one shot, and you did it what 38 fights in a row.
Yeah, and they're almost 80 years. I mean, combined, they're almost 80. 41 and 38.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
I mean, look, time is time is running out, and it's too bad with Zhang because I mean, he was just mismanaged there for a while. He
Horribly,
just stagnated, and now he's 41. He's
horribly
past his prime.
mismanaged.
He's been past his prime. He was past his prime when he when he won his last two fights against the other Brit. He was past his prime. He
Oh yeah,
just
oh
is.
yeah. When he beat Joe Joyce, oh yeah,
Joe Joyce.
yeah. Joyce was just look. He will never face another more stationary target than Joe Joyce. I don't think anybody in the heavyweight division. Joe Joyce cannot move his upper body, his head. He doesn't move. So yeah, I think maybe the styles were more. And looking back on those two fights, he was primed for Zhang to do that.
Man, Zach M says Dubois should be champ. So he must still be he must be a big Dubois fan thinking about that body shot that he landed against Usyk in that fight. Um, yeah, I don't see Dubois ever winning a belt, but you never know. Boxing is a funny game. But
Yeah,
I don't see Dubois. And you're right with this fight with Ergovich. I don't. It's another like question mark type of fight
yep. Dubois
because
could have a
Ergo.
chance after Usyk and Fury are done and Joshua, because the belts once the big three are done, those belts are going to scatter. They're going to scatter like shotgun pellets, man. They're going to go everywhere to anybody, and yeah, there's no way there's no way any of these guys would ever be lined up career wise to fight for the undisputed before one of these big three guys is done being that guy, or having the majority of the belts or whatever.
Yeah, I think did you tell me that Usyk he's asking for an extension so he doesn't get stripped and he keeps his
I
belt at
I,
least
I
for
read he
one more
got
fight?
granted. I read that he got granted the
But why
extension.
not? They make
He
up their
gets
own rules, so
right,
just grant it. Let them
right.
have the belts, and December 21st they fight again. Um, which before you know it, I mean it's already almost June. Before you know it, we're gonna have that rematch. Which
It seems
who
like a long time, man. I don't know. It seems like too long uh, for both guys. Uh, I don't know, man. That seems like a long time to wait to get back into camp,
that's 7 months. That's a long time.
especially at their ages and where they're at in their careers. You would figure you would want to, rest up, get back in camp as soon as possible, and get the rematch over with, and move on to either retirement, which is what I think will happen. Especially if Fury loses, he's done. I think he retires and then fights, exhibition crap.
Everybody's doing exhibitions.
Oh, he
Everybody.
will be the king of those before he's actually done with boxing. I can see him fighting YouTubers for 7 years after he leaves boxing. He's that big of a clown, and he likes money that much. And he has a kid every 16 months, so a
Yeah, he
lot
sure
of
does.
mouths to
Hey,
feed.
Let me bring in my guy right here, George
Yo.
Zapata from Zapata brand. Oh, hey Jeremy, we got 2 Georges in here now. So
Uh-oh.
Oh, 1 second. I gotta lower this thing in the background. What I got going on here? There we go.
yeah, man.
Yo,
I
what's
know you're. I
happening,
know
guys?
you're watching the fights.
Yeah. I'm watching the fights. If it's not a long show, a long card like they all are.
Come on,
you know,
it's one of those Saudi cards. It's going to be like 9 hours long.
Yeah, no, I'm just here. I was just here baking at the shop, so I'm like, if I could get on, if I'm done, I'll get on with George and Tech Dumb Dad here. But I just got done. I got the stupid air conditioner I'm working on.
So you say baking at the shop? Let people know you got a bagel shop. You've got a business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I own Georgie Bagels. It's actually themed around boxing, so it actually fits into the theme. But our bagels will knock you out. That's a little saying, catchphrase. But I've been doing it for 29 years, but I've owned it for 27 years. So, watching the Saudi fights from noon to 8 o'clock at night on East Coast time is not my idea of a fun day. They got to correct that.
I don't, Jeremy, maybe I don't even know what time this card starts, what time, and it's on DAZN, I believe, but I don't know what time it's aired. Are they only airing 6 fights? Is it 5? Like, I don't even know. But what I think is going to happen is, these Saudi fights, these are spectacles, man. And it's going to be 7 plus hours till we get to the main event. By the way, which fight is it? Is it Wilder and Zhang as the main event? It can't be Bivol.
No, I thought it was Wilder and Zhang. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
That is.
It only makes sense.
So, so tell me, man, George, Wilder, Zhang, who do you think wins that one?
Tech Dumb Dad hit it right on the head. 50-50 fight. Because if you go by the last fights, I mean, as much as I like Wilder, I really do. I think he would be exciting to the division. And Zhang is, man, he's stuck in mud. I don't even know if he's stuck in mud. I mean, he is stuck in concrete.
He's stuck in concrete. He just doesn't. He just doesn't move.
So I don't know. But then what happens if Wilder hits him? Because he's going to hit him.
That's the thing. That's the big question. Can he take that power?
I never seen him get hurt.
Zhang is wearing those concrete boots, huh?
Exactly.
You don't want to be Italian wearing concrete boots.
Yeah.
You never know what happened there. But he definitely, I mean, I'm leaning towards Wilder because I think he would. What's he got to lose? If he only has 1 or 2 more fights left in him, what do you have to lose? But he didn't look good in his last fight. The only difference is Joyce is a mover and he can box a little bit. Zhang is just going to try to knock you out. I mean, that's what I mean, that's the only thing I could say happening. But I mean, I'm the worst with picks. I mean, I'm horrible.
Hey, when people talk about picks, I always go back to my number 1 money making pick when I picked Oscar De La Hoya to beat Manny Pacquiao, and everybody knows how that happened. So I don't ever give picks to people who want to actually make money. But look, Matthew says, honestly, I find it a little distasteful how quick everybody is to saddle up with the Saudi government. First of all, what sport are we in here? This is boxing. This is a sport that doesn't care about its own fighters. So, like, I don't talk politics if you want to talk about the Saudi government, but this is a sport that tried to kill Muhammad Ali when he fought Larry Holmes. So boxing has its own problems without bringing government. So we're boxing fans, man. We're tough. We don't talk about government. We don't talk about politics. But what other fights, George, on the card are you looking forward to seeing?
Ray Ford. I'm a Jersey guy, so Ray Ford.
Exactly. And Jeremy, I forgot to tell you, George is another Jersey guy. So we're partial to the Jersey fighters.
Well, I'm partial to Ford too. I think he's a future problem to be dealt with for anybody in that division. Yeah, I can see him even moving up a weight class and giving people hell there. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. That's my pick for fight of the night.
That's going to be a good one. And
I think that's fight of the night.
Fighting Temple has Wilder by vicious KO. I think Wilder rules the division into his 40s. Might even become undisputed. I know they're trolling. There's so many trolls. He might even become undisputed.
To be honest with you, my ultimate dream for the way that fight ends is that scene in Rocky where it freeze frames on them both throwing the shot at the same time, and I hope they hit each other and let the strongest man either stay up or get back up, and the other one go to sleep. I don't want to see a long drawn out fight between those guys because one slows down way too fast, and the other one it, he can be really gun shy. Apparently, I don't know what's. I just want to see Wilder let go of that right hand, man. If he does that, he wins this. I think he knocks him out. I do. It may be referee stoppage because I don't know that you can actually get him off. He may actually have concrete in his boots, keeping him on the mat. So I don't know. He may do like a weeble wobble and not fall down. You know.
He
But
might, but you know what? As we're talking, the more I think about that fight, I think it's going to be a war. How else? Wilder does not move. He's not going to. He moved when he fought Stavern the first time, but he's not going to make Zhang miss. I think they're going to stand there, and if Wilder can let his hands go, then you guys are right. It's going to be who can take the other shot.
But it has those Fury fights taken that much out of him.
Maybe
It may have.
probably.
Here's the
I
other
want to
point.
see. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, here's the other point. You realize we're talking about an undisputed champion, and they're going to strip. They're going to strip someone. The IBF's going to strip someone, immediately. Now, I mean, because then Hergovic is going to. They're going to strip Usyk. They're going to because they want, for some reason, they want Hergovic to be that champion. They keep putting that out there. So now you don't have an undisputed champion again. So it's the same thing. It's going to go back in a circle. They're going to have another one for 10, 15 years. Same thing.
Well, I'm hearing that Wilder, if all these ifs, if Wilder wins, then he'll supposedly fight Jared Anderson, which would be a fight. No. I'm hearing if Wilder wins this fight, then Jared Anderson is next.
Oh, geez.
We'll see. He's another guy. He hasn't fought anyone himself, so.
I actually like that fight better for Wilder than I do the Zhang fight. He's another one of those guys, Anderson, man. I don't got a lot of hype around him, but who has he been in the ring with to really test
Charles
him?
Martin.
And
Charles Martin gave him a hard time.
Yeah. So the only man he's been in the ring with gave him hell. And I just don't know, man. Wilder, if we're talking about the Wilder that will let his hands go, I miss that Wilder. They had something going in that second Fury fight where Wilder would jab to the body. He would stab to the body of Fury and try to set up the overhand right that way instead of just coming in with the stick out there and then trying to throw the bomb. And for the first like round or two, I remember thinking, wow, okay, he's throwing the jab downstairs and upstairs, and he's actually landing that jab to the body. If he does that to Zhang, he might catch Zhang over the top with that right hand, and we all know what that means. I don't know. I lean Wilder if he lets his hands go. If he don't, we might be in for a snooze fest.
Hey, I want to put something up, and I'm sure you guys can see your screens, but I put this up before because I thought it was funny. Somebody, Inevitable D Block, put this on X, and it's
your guess Camboa's arm reach.
It's the worst. I just thought this was hilarious because usually you see like creating the best prize fighter, and actually Paulie had this on his social media because he thinks it's funny. Paulie didn't have much power, so I was looking at this, and I can't. I mean, I'm sure you can come up with some other guys. But yeah, the Adrian Broner punch count.
That might be my favorite one. The Adrian Broner punch count.
That's probably my favorite one. The butterbean footwork is pretty good too.
Yeah.
The chin's probably pretty on. Amir Khan didn't have a great chin, but
no,
he was in there with punchers. I could probably think of a couple others.
But like Ricky Hatton's skin toughness. I mean, if you go back to Chuck Wepner, the Bayonne bleeder,
Chuck Wepner, I was going to say
he was a bleeder. But Hatton, I don't really remember Hatton.
A couple of times, I don't remember him being like notorious for
right
being cut up.
Arturo Gatti, he would cut. He would cut.
Gotti would cut.
Yeah.
Gotti was always
Yeah.
bleeding. So yeah, maybe that's the weakest one on there, the Ricky Hatton. But Hasim Rahman luck. Well, I don't know about that. Because he landed that lucky shot and became heavyweight champ.
Yeah, he did.
As I glanced at that, I thought it said Antonio Margarito's hand wraps. I was like, what? It says Antonio Margarito's hand speed.
Now that's probably what it should have said.
I was like, what?
But now the Wilder leg strength is pretty funny because if you've ever looked at his legs, Deontay Wilder, it's
Not made for a heavyweight.
No. Well, that's why he only weighs like 213, 214 because his legs are so skinny. But Alfredo Angulo hand speed was pretty good. But the Gamboa arm reach is another funny one too because I do remember he had like when he would fight, he looked like T-Rex.
Yeah, T-Rex arms, man. He had the T-Rex arms.
Oh no, now Zach brought up a good one. Andy Ruiz appetite. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I saw this. I said, oh man, I have to get this in here because usually it's the best. Like here's your compilation, best right hand. This guy, but this one
could be Andy Ruiz squandered career. That could be one of them.
Man,
he had the talent, and man, did he squander his career.
Well, he's fighting soon, right?
Yeah.
In August.
Fighting the guy got busted for roids all the time. What's his name?
Oh, Big Baby Miller.
Big Baby Miller. Yeah.
When did he fight last? Like 7 years ago? Like we haven't seen Ruiz in forever, man.
Did he fight
and he didn't look good. Areola busted him up too.
Yeah, I think that's his last fight.
Was it Areola or was it King Kong Ortiz his last fight?
Oh, King Kong Ortiz. That was it.
But he didn't look great
in either one of those fights.
in either one, and he was slimmed down too. Instead of like 320, he was like 290.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I saw him enter the ring, just when I saw him do the ring walk in that Joshua rematch, I was like, oh, extra large silk pajamas.
Yeah, it's over, Johnny. It's over, Johnny.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty good. And Andy Ruiz up there in a couple categories. But I just this caught my eye. So although I think the one I would take off would be Hasim Rahman's luck because he was heavyweight champ, man. South Africa, he landed that bomb. So I guess with Rahman, they're talking about he was knocked through the ring, I remember, against Moskaev, and then he had that, remember the hematoma on his head against Holyfield?
Yeah.
Which was one of the most disgusting things.
It was gross.
Even I was wincing, and we've seen cuts, and they were trying. I remember the end swell. They were trying to like move the lump from one side of his head to the other. It was
what do you do with that?
They didn't want to go down to his eye, so they kept trying to push it up to the corner. And
but you could see them like pushing it hard and so Rahman, I don't know, man. He was heavyweight champ, so how unlucky can you be? And he got starched in the rematch.
Maybe Marvin Hagler's luck. I mean, you figure he lost the decision to Ray Leonard in a big fight, lost the decision to oh my god, the guy Vito Anafuermo. 2-1, or he got a draw in that one. So there was that. I'm talking about that kind of luck.
Yeah,
maybe that's what he means.
That would be a way better one. Yep.
That's not a bad one. My man Matthew says, "What's funny is everyone makes fun of Ruiz, but Tyson Fury did the same thing."
Against who?
I don't know.
I just don't think he took Francis Ngannou seriously.
No, he didn't. I mean.
You know what? I said that's maybe the one pick I got right. I thought he was just faded. I thought he might not have taken him seriously, but then when he reached for something, it wasn't there. I think he's been fading, and he looked better against Usyk. I don't think he can fight better in the rematch. I don't. But I mean, stranger things.
Listen, what he can do is stick to the damn thing that was working, because he won a ton of rounds early in that fight. He was winning. He won like 4 or 5 rounds straight doing the game plan. I think what happened in that corner was chaos. I think John Fury tried to take over. I think that's why we heard that Sugar Hill actually lose his temper in the corner, and you don't really hear that. I mean, he got loud and told everybody to shut the F up and
Yeah,
was
John
saying
Fury's got to go, man. He
he
can't.
does.
He can't be in the corner.
He also, I think you're right, Tectum Dad. He swept like rounds 3 to 7, 3 to 6 before he got dropped. But then he started going back to the ropes in the corner. And I
Yeah.
thought, what is he doing? That's not a good move. Not a good move.
So what I'm hearing is what he was being told in the corner around the 9th round. John started getting in his ear and screaming and telling him, "You got the fight in the bag.
Oh.
Just box and stay away and don't do anything stupid. Be careful." Well, then we all know what happened in the 9th. So in the 10th, 11th, and 12th, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He was saying his corner was telling him he had it in the bag. The 11th and 12th
He
round, he
blamed his
said, that's why I
corner.
didn't go after him. So if
He
that's
definitely
true,
blamed the corner in the post-fight press conference. He said, if I knew, which is kind of lame, like he knows boxing, you got to win the last round. You know, he said, if I knew I was down, I would have went after him. It was a super close fight, and I was rooting for Usyk. But
I don't even think it was. I think it was decisively an Usyk win. It's as close as it can be and still have a decisive winner.
Yeah.
I don't think in a million years I would have given Fury the fight. Maybe on a bad day I'd have given it a draw, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like,
me too.
Here we go. They're setting up the drama of the draw, which no fan in boxing likes. I'm sorry.
You know what?
We want
on that when they announced that third card, and they said 114. I was expecting to hear to 114. But they didn't. So I was shocked. Then I said, "Oh no, they're going to rob Usyk," but they got it right.
We applauded when they got it right because I could see that going a horrible way too. Because you do have to admit, as big as and respected of a star as Usyk is in the realm of real boxing and boxing fans, he is nothing compared to the world fame that Fury has accumulated over his career. Fury is he's a household name in boxing. Usyk is a household name to boxing fans. He's not a casual, like I'm sure a lot of people before Joshua, and they'd never even heard of the guy. Probably never even heard of him. Most casual fans.
Oh, no casual fans had heard of him.
So I was like, man, this could go potentially bad. I was scared that it would be a draw or even a split decision for Fury, which would have been even more egregious. I think there was a clear winner. I think it was Usyk. I don't think you can argue that. The tone of the fight changed once Fury started getting caught by Usyk in the 6th or 7th round. The whole tone of the fight changed. The body language of both fighters changed. You saw Usyk get bigger and more confident. You saw Fury backing off, getting shy. I think it was a great fight, but man, there was a clear winner.
I don't know if I've ever seen Fury in more trouble.
No.
He wobbled around that ring to bouncing all over, and I know Wilder had him in all kinds of hell, but
that first get up,
George, he got stunned I never saw him just flopping. He was flopping all over the ring. It was incredible because Usyk's another guy. He's got good power, but he's not known at heavyweight, especially as a concussive one punch. And that left that he landed.
It's accumulative. He has to accumulate power shot after power shot after power shot, and then eventually, he can hurt you. But he had accumulated some nice solid. Everything he was landing was solid. He wasn't missing a lot. Usyk wasn't. When he threw punches, they were landing, especially as the fight went on.
You know, George, what you said was you never seen him hurt like that before. That two things. One, that makes me think that fight did take those 3 fights took a lot out of him, and because he was, he got knocked down a couple times, but he was down and he got up.
Right.
And, that was a bad wobble. That's like equilibrium stuff off, not flash knockdowns, not concussive power knockdown. The second thing is the only reason why I got nervous on that scorecard was did you see the Sergey Kovalov fight? The one judge had Kovalov head. I was like, what the hell was he looking at? Yeah, thank God that guy got the stoppage. I
Yeah,
couldn't
forgot
believe
about that. I
Well,
forgot
no.
about
That went the distance.
Did it go?
He's
I
he
thought they stopped it.
Kovalev got dropped in the
He got
10th.
dropped, but he got up right as
Oh,
But he
did
got
the
up.
bell rang.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he did make the bell. He
Oh,
got up and made the
Jesus.
bell. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
I forgot about that crazy
Yeah.
card.
The
Yeah,
one guy had Kovalev ahead. I think he had him ahead by a few points too, actually.
I think it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was just crazy. I mean, he was a shadow. It wasn't the
Oh, man,
crusher. I
that
mean,
was
it was
hard for me to
No.
watch. I
well.
almost felt guilty watching it. I think I even got up and went to the kitchen a few times just so I could be like, "All right, man, this is sad," because he was a killer, man. He was a killer. He
Yeah,
was
there was
so
a
fun
lot
to
of
watch
people.
too.
He was. I when I was at HBO, I did the first feature that we did on him, and this is like, man, I don't know, 10 years ago at least. He was training in Florida, and it's just time, man. 10 years later, he's 41, 42, fighting at cruiserweight, and I noticed Buddy McGirt wasn't in his corner either.
No,
So I don't know, man. You know, boxing, they don't get most of these fighters don't have happy endings, and if Kovalev keeps fighting, it's just going to get worse and worse. But yeah, the scoring, I was just shocked. I really thought they were going to rob Usyk because we expect fighters to get robbed. I thought Bivol was going to get robbed against Canelo. When they said 115, 113, I was like, oh my God, they gave it to Canelo because Bivol dominated that fight. But they got it right. But we're just trained to think that they're going to get it wrong.
Mhm.
So if George, if I could have frozen time when they said the third score 114 and froze it right there, I probably would have put a ton of money on it being a draw. I said, oh, they're going to screw them.
I
Then a
know,
draw.
right? I would have lost it all.
I would have lost it all. So that's why I don't bet. So
George, you know, I got into a loop of like all the HBO fights, the beginnings, like Ruddock and Lewis, Burt Cooper, Holyfield, like, you know, the beginnings where they show them like what happened, how it transpired. You know, the trailers, the vignettes they used to do.
Oh yeah.
What was the favorite one you've ever done? There's got to be one that you're like, or the ones that you've seen and be like, holy crap, that's a good one. Get you ready for the fight.
You're talking about the tease. We would call it the tease at the very top.
Yeah.
The favorite one, it's one that I didn't do, and it was before I was at HBO. A guy that I interviewed, Michael Whalen, he did a tease for the Leonard Hearns rematch. They would show it on HBO a week later because it would be on pay-per-view or closed circuit. Yeah. They did a tease for that. It was my favorite, and it's on YouTube somewhere. But that was my favorite of all time. It was so good, man. And the fight had already happened, so you already knew who the winner was. But it still got me hyped. Like I couldn't wait to see the fight, even though that fight was a draw. But yeah, that was like I've done so many teases. I know features.
Like the
favorite feature I did was Manny Pacquiao.
But I'm talking like that 8-minute thing before. Like my favorite one was Holyfield, Burt Cooper, because Atlanta Braves were in the World Series. They were showing him working out with Lee Haney, using that machine for the first time.
Those were the features. Yeah.
Those were my favorite parts of and you know, they only did 2 fights, but those are the favorite ones. But the Holyfield Burt Cooper was my ultimate favorite, and you always talk about that. And I'm just curious which one would be your favorite one there. And even Jeremy, if you had a favorite there.
I grew up watching all those features when Tyson was fighting, because whoever Tyson fought, they'd do a feature on the other guy too. And it was like that. There was always a feature on the main event guy and whoever he was fighting. Like for features that I did, man, you know what? It's a sad one, but the best one that I ever did. Remember when it was like a 3-month span where Alexis Arguello, Vernon Forrest, and Arturo Gatti, they all died in and
then Paul Williams got into that accident right after.
It was a short span, and we did a tribute, like it was probably like 7-8 minutes long about those 3 guys, and we interviewed Aaron Pryor, who was still alive then, and Vernon Forrest's manager. But that was really, it was a sad one, but one of my favorite one, I interviewed Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao. This is might have been after the first Morales fight. So Pacquiao wasn't the huge star yet. I interviewed those two, and Freddie talked about his Parkinson's on camera for one of the first times.
Oh
And
shit.
Pacquiao, we went to some house in Brentwood that Freddie's manager at the time knew. So we were shooting the interviews there. Manny Pacquiao was like in his 20s, and he was like a little kid, man. He waited around for 2 hours while we interviewed Freddie, and then I did his interview. So
Wow.
there was a lot of fun ones, man. That's the thing that's lacking now, just those kind of stories.
And it brings back our childhood. Like,
Oh
I can
yeah,
remember.
the
I
HBO
remember
boxing, that was family night, man. ABC, when they did it in the afternoons, I mean, that was everybody, man. If it was a big fight, the whole family came over, and we all sat in the living room and munched on snacks and yelled and screamed at the TV.
Zach said OJ's house because it wasn't Brentwood, and people were. I remember I was saying like, "Oh man, is OJ around here?" You know. But yeah, yeah. I was lucky, man. I got to do a lot of features, and I mean, I was with Pacquiao in the Philippines once, which was, and I just my biggest regret is that I didn't take more pictures. I should have 1,000 pictures of me, but I didn't want to, I wasn't there as a fan. I was working. So, I mean, I had a lunch with Manny Pacquiao, just me and him in a gym
That's
in the
crazy.
Philippines, like all this food. And it was just, I thought he was going to have 50 people with him, and he didn't. It was just he and I. So, yeah, man, it's still but you're right. The HBO features that got me wanting to do it for a living, because it's just telling stories, and nobody did it better. And now I don't know, man. They just don't care.
Oh, I
They don't
know.
care. I mean,
I
it
know.
is what it is.
As someone who's a marketer, I'm owning my business. I got to market. That's some terrible marketing. You have to market someone to want
Thank
to have them.
you.
Have someone have interest in the fighter. UFC does it the best, but you have to, even WWE, which we know is predetermined. You want to follow that guy. It's predetermined, and it sells out arenas. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you not make a superstar from somebody like they used to? I mean,
The business model, you're in marketing, so great. The business model of boxing is broken. It's
Yeah.
antiquated. It has been. You have to catch up with the times, and you have to be involved in every aspect of social media. I mean, you have to be out there, and you have to have marketable people marketing your sport. And we don't have that anymore. The production value it's garbage, man. I'm sorry. From I'm hypercritical because I grew up watching HBO, and then Showtime did it really well too.
Yep,
So,
they did.
and man, it's just leaps and bounds better than
You know what it is too. No, and I'm saying because I know this to be true. They don't want to pay for production. Everyone's budget
No.
is. They claim it's minuscule. They don't have people that care enough. They just don't. They don't have people that care enough that them. As long as they get a fight on, doesn't matter if you can hear it. Doesn't matter
I
if you can hear the
know.
corners. That doesn't matter. As long as they get a fight up and they get a start and an end, they high five each other and say, "Hey, man, great show." No, most of the time it wasn't a great show.
now,
Never.
now, George, on your point there, you said, oh, so the guy, I forget his name, he just popped up, said, HBO effed up, dropping boxing. Number one, were they losing money? Matthew 2779. It didn't seem like they were losing money.
You know what? I mean, I left in 2014. I know, and they stopped, I think, in 2018. I don't know 100%. All I do know for a fact is that every year we would have a budget for doing shows, features, and it got smaller and smaller every year. And I know that HBO started turning their backs. They stopped doing business with Al Heyman. Then Bob Arum, they turned their back on Bob Arum. By the end, like their last fight, and no shade, but Lucia Riker might have been, or not Lucia Riker.
No.
Maybe no, it was Chris Brejos. It was one of the female fighters. It was a terrible, like the last fight card was abysmal, man. They weren't doing big fights anymore. what I think happened is the people up top that ran the show, it was a different regime than back in the heyday when Ross Greenberg was there. Those guys didn't care about boxing. They wanted to make money in other ways, Sopranos and all the other shows, Game of Thrones. So I think they knew for a few years before, like, look, we're getting out of this. And they showed it. The budget got smaller, the fights got worse. And
Oh,
it was no shock when they finally, but it was years in coming. They didn't just wake up and say, hey, let's cut it. They never told us this,
that
but
makes
I was
sense.
let go. I was let go in 2014. It was the first cost-cutting measure HBO had ever had, where they started to let people go because they were trying to do a business merge with someone.
Now, let me ask you, George, you ever see or Jeremy, either or, the Anatomy of a Fighter by that guy who goes around? That is super high end production. It cannot be that much money. It can't be that much money.
No,
it-
it's not.
Not now, anyway.
It's not, but you have to care about that to do that. And they don't care. Like, you'll watch, they won't have any features on this Saudi card.
they don't
They
see
do
the
these
value.
movie trailers, but they won't do something in depth on Deontay Wilder and something deep, like how bad he looked in his last fight, and he hasn't looked good in years. They won't. I doubt very seriously they're gonna take the time and do something. They'll just have talking heads for 7 hours, and they'll do a million promos like DAZN does, telling us here's what's coming up on DAZN. That's my guess.
George, throw your name in the hat. Throw your name in the hat there. Throw something together. DAZN's out there. Grab some of that Saudi money. Just throw your name in the hat.
We all started out as casual fans, and what turns a casual fan, or at least in my experience, into a serious, dedicated boxing fan is telling the story of the battle that's
Exactly.
about
That's what we're
occur.
talking about. Agreed.
Yeah, you gotta tell the story. Nobody cares. It might as well be two guys in the lunchroom fighting over the last fucking sandwich, man. I mean, it might as well be the way they tell these stories. You don't know these guys who cares? You don't know anything about their background. One of the coolest things about boxing back in its heyday with HBO and them was learning about how Marvin Hagler grew up and what a crazy hard childhood he had and everything that he had done to persevere through. And now he's about to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, the golden child of, you know what I mean? Wheaties box, Olympic medals, pretty smile, money getting thrown at him from everywhere.
It's sad. You're 1,000% right, and it's just a different day, and unfortunately, it's not a better day when it comes to that.
And whether you hated him or liked him, you still bought the ticket. You still bought the pay-per-view because you wanted either to see him win or see him lose. It's not out there anymore. You got two guys just hugging each other. It's not good.
I mean, that's the big stars, Sugar Ray Leonard and Oscar De La Hoya and all those guys and Mike Tyson. They were big because everyone knew who they were. They knew their stories. They knew everything about them. Who knows? Honestly, besides casuals, who really knows Usyk's story? We know because we watch everything that's out there, that he fought in the war with Ukraine, and they told him, listen, brother, go back, fight your fights in the ring. But most people don't know that because they don't do enough storytelling to get people invested and say, man, like, I don't know anything about that guy, but I want to see him fight. But I've had people tell me they don't care.
Him and his father's relationship would be such a great story to tell.
I was just going to say that. I didn't know about his dad dying.
It's such a great story for boxing, and
that's
how you make casuals turn into dedicated fans. The people who are going to buy the pay-per-views every time. It don't matter who it is. And I don't know. I think pay-per-view has a lot to do with it now. I think they put too much stock in making money on pay-per-views because we have a lot of pay-per-views that I'm like, this is not a
like this fight that's coming up, this card in Saudi. They don't even do, unless I missed it. Did they even do like an all access type of show? I don't.
You know what they did? They spent probably $5 million to $12 million
on a movie trailer,
damn commercial.
Yeah, see,
and they blew the budget on something that only boxing fans and a few other people that share it even care about, and even people who watch it are going to go, yeah, that was cool, but what the hell was it about?
Yep.
I'm not a boxing fan. Who the hell are those guys? So
Well,
I don't know.
that's what I mean. They just in Saudi they don't care because they have deep pockets, so it doesn't matter to them how many buys this does. They just want to do good fights. But you would think somebody should be on the inside, and like you said, like try and get that Saudi money, but tell them how to do this. Trick Nolte says those fighters fought on regular TV first before they got big. That's
He's right.
true, and it's a
Uh-huh.
different era
I
now.
missed
I mean,
that time too, Trick.
it's just he's right, and it's just different. But you can with it should be easier now with social media to blast these stories all over and have them all over YouTube. But
You would
they
think.
just
Let
don't.
me
They
tell
don't
you.
care.
Let me tell you, I'm going around now to promoters in the amateur circuit, asking them, hey, I'll do your entire show. I'll do your entire show for you and put it behind a paywall. They won't do it. I'm like, it's free. I said, it's
Yeah,
free. I'll put it
yeah.
on my platform. And if someone wants to pay, we split it. I do all the production. And no, you can't. I said, there's 35 people here.
Yep.
Do you think
Yeah.
you get these guys out there and you don't know if these amateurs have family in different states that can't watch it, if they're going to pay $5 for it? That's $5 you didn't have. I'll give you $250 of the 5 and I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
They won't do it.
But you know what? Now this isn't every place, but I used to work at a place called ProBox, and I can tell you, the founder of ProBox, and he said this to me. He thinks that features and stories are for boxing fans' wives, so that the wives see it and they allow the husbands to watch a fight. And I remember the first time he said that, I said, "Are you crazy?" I made a career like telling. He said, "No, that's how I feel." He's one of many who could care less about stories. He just wants to make good fights. That's only half of it. That's more than half. You make a good fight, people will watch. You put
Right,
a
but
good
you have to
story out
tell the
there and make it
story.
compelling, and you get even more eyeballs. But unfortunately, I think more people have that outlook. They just don't care about stories. And you're just the three of us are in agreement. You're dropping the ball. You're dropping the ball.
Also, the amateur system is lacking. When's the last time you saw like a De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, guys that came out and they put the machine behind them, ran and they put them on free TV first.
Why isn't that on ESPN2 at midnight? I'll watch. I don't give a damn. Like put some amateur fights are awesome.
But they put them. They also put them on like if they won that gold medal, put them on Johnny Carson, put them on David Letterman, put them on these places. With the social media you have today.
Circuit. Yeah,
oh,
you
get them anywhere.
Circuit, man.
Yeah, the amateur system is it's been bad for a while. I mean, do they even show? Do they still show the fights on TV? Don't they for the Olympics?
Well, the Olympics? No, I didn't see. Well, if they do, it's pretty rare. I don't even know if they did.
Terrible.
Well, I mean, they got found out for being perpetually corrupt. So
yeah,
I mean, and people lost all faith in. That's so sad. They lost faith in an Olympic sport like boxing. That used to be. I used to be like, okay, who's going to be the pros coming out after this? Let's watch the Olympics and find out who are the future superstars. And
Victor put on there, remembering Jim Roy and Max crying, explaining this is their last broadcast. I remember that last HBO and the last. They did a look back, and yeah, man, it's sad to watch that now, but it's just different days, man. But different doesn't mean it has to be worse. And
everybody evolves. Everybody evolves. My business here, when I redid it, when I bought it from my partners and made it the Georgie Bagels, I was the character, who was a boxer, retired boxer, who didn't want to fight again, but I almost did fight again, back in April, and then
I know
my story behind it. When you sit down on the table, there is the story. Growing up in New Jersey, came here, the whole story's there. So even if you don't like me or whatever, hey, that's a pretty good story.
Right.
You might want to buy from me.
Some of the best characters are people you don't like that you read about, or you hear about, You either loved or hated Mike Tyson. I mean, he was either a villain or a hero to you.
It's just, unfortunately, I think it's going to change at some point. I don't know when. And it should be easier, man. Everybody accesses things from their phone, and it should be so easy to get the stories out. But even when I see things, I mean, I don't want to start ripping people, but some of the things I've seen, DAZN did something they did something called, I think, 40 days for the Haney Garcia fight.
Yeah.
And I watched the first episode and it was horrible. So if you're gonna do it
Yep.
right. It's like another 24/7 type show that we're doing. If you're gonna do it right.
Well,
And
you,
they
you,
didn't.
you
But
can absolutely. If I can never spend 1 second in a boxing ring against another man trying to take my head off, and I can freely critique Deontay Wilder's flaws in this fight that he's about to fight and where I think it's going to happen, then I can absolutely call you out on your shitty production. I'm sorry. I can. I'm the fan. You're selling me a product.
Yeah, I say it to the kids here. I say, if I serve hot food cold and cold food hot, I'm out of business. And I say
There
good.
you go. Yep.
they go, but they say, this is what they say. Hey, great show, guys. So what?
Oh.
You couldn't hear the corners. So what? You couldn't hear Al Bernstein when he was talking. So what, man? Great show. We had it started and it ended. So good job. Good job.
I have
Yeah.
a great story with that. And this I think is corporate America. I had a contract with one of the biggest supermarkets here. There was about 17 stores here, and then when 2008 came, they had a thing where we're cutting back. We're fighting over like 2 pennies a bagel, literally 2 pennies a bagel. I said, yeah, but mine is baked fresh. I deliver fresh. And his quote to me, this is the CEO of the company, said, "If they eat crap, feed them more crap."
There you go.
That's all.
Yep.
I was like, all right,
Yep.
I guess that's what it is. I'm out. So
Yep.
it kind of seems like the same way.
Yeah, unfortunately. But guys, I'm gonna end this because I try to do like an hour, but it's so much easier when there's other people. But
Hey George,
I'm
why
gonna,
do I feel like that should be your closing line every show?
What's that?
I only try to do an hour, but
Oh.
but I do.
Yeah.
I do. But it's just hard. I interviewed Randy Gordon the other night.
That was
My
good.
wife was laughing at me because like 20 times I said, all right, man, just one more thing. And then he would say something and we talk like 20 more minutes. And I'd say, all right, I'm going to let you go, man, but just one more thing. And then he would talk about like Caesar's Palace in Vegas and we would talk for another 20 minutes. So,
Yeah, that was a good one. Randy Gordon, that one was a good one. I liked him.
It really
You know
was.
what? A lot of people, everyone's an expert. And I hated talking about the whole Ryan Garcia debacle because I'm not an expert. I don't know about hair strands and I don't know. But I was looking at a lot of the comments, and a lot of people said, "Yeah, Randy, good job." But a lot of people were like, "He doesn't know anything about drugs, and he's biased. He doesn't. He's not supposed to
Oh
know
my
about
God.
drugs." What he said was, "If I was commissioner, I would give Ryan Garcia every chance to prove his innocence, have all the experts he wants, and I would listen unbiased to any evidence they have." That's all you can ask.
The difference is once you're found positive, okay, you're guilty until proven innocent. It's
Thank
on
you.
now.
Exactly. That's
It's
what
on
I
you.
said. He's
Thank
guilty
you.
right now. He is guilty.
Yes, it's like the IRS. You are guilty, and you got to prove us wrong.
The
And-
burden
and-
of proof is on Ryan.
Yes,
It-
100%.
And
Yeah.
for all the people who are experts, and I keep reading, "Oh, I'm an expert," and if his hair strand showed he didn't have it, he didn't. Okay, well, guess what? Ryan Garcia is one of the few people in the world that can afford the best defense ever. He can have every expert from every field. So, and I'm sure he will. So, for all his fans, if he is innocent, it should be a slam dunk for all these experts out there. He's going to have he's going to have lawyers and experts, and he's going to put together a case.
Mhm.
And then we'll see. Until that happens, like you said, he is guilty. He's guilty.
Yeah. Chris
Well-
Algieri explained it the best. He know. Now you talk about an expert. Chris Algieri.
Yeah,
is the expert.
yeah. I did like his. Yeah, he knows about SARMs. He knows like the man. The man is educated in it. So
Yeah.
anybody like that, look, I'm also an expert in anything you want me to be an expert in. I can type that right there in your comments as soon as I'm done. What do you want me to be? Yeah. So yeah, these internet experts are different than actual experts.
Yeah, but it's funny they were like ripping Randy for not knowing about all these drugs. First of all, he's not the commissioner. Second, you're supposed to get experts in to make the case. I mean, they have, and New York State has their rules, and he broke a rule. He broke one of their rules, and he's guilty right now. So that's the only, I didn't ever talk about it because I'm not a I'm not Chris Algieri, but I figured Randy Gordon was a former New York State athletic commissioner, and he really talked more about the debacle of the commission, how there's no commissioner right now. They don't
Right.
have anyone. So they can't even have a caucus come together because they don't have a commission. So it's all, boxing. That's why it's just good to talk about fights, man. And like all that drugs and Danny Garcia and Devin Haney, man. We got fights this Saturday. And I am see what happened? You baited me into this, George. And Jeremy, I was about to end it. And then we got more talk, but I appreciate talking to you guys, man. And George, man, let me know when we'll.
Yeah, this.
I hear. Hey, you don't have to listen. I'm about to go. I have to pick my daughter up from play rehearsal because she has a play this. She's in high school. She has a play this Friday and Saturday, so they have rehearsal till 7:00. So
last thing I'll leave you with, George, on this one is this is the kind of day I had. I had to open the door because the air conditioner's down. So I own the building that this shop is in. And you know how hot it is in a bagel shop. I had the door open,
man.
right? Go in there. A mouse runs into the shop from the front door. Yeah, a mouse. And so just the customer's like, hey, I just saw a mouse run in the front door. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's impossible. That's impossible. Sure enough, it was sitting there in the corner and ran right out again, but it ran out. Thank God. I think it was just scared because, the door was open. I didn't think nothing of it. Thinking, so 40,000 later, we're getting a new air conditioner. Or it has to be craned on my roof.
Oh, my
40
goodness.
grand. Yeah, 2 10-ton units got to go. So,
ooh. Oh man!
No Christmas bonus this year for anybody. No Christmas bonuses. We're done.
So I'm taking.
Well, you got a long way to go till Christmas, and you're going to sell a lot of bagels, so everything's going to be fine. Man, all right, fellas. Well,
all right, guys.
It was good talking to you, fellas.
It was great. Hey, Jeremy, maybe one of these times you'll actually be on screen.
Hey, I do have a camera. I will get it out. It's in a box.
We'll get it out. What's it, buried under something?
No, it's just sitting in a box over here on my desk, and I just look at it from time to time and laugh at it.
Well, break that out, and maybe next time you can use it officially.
All right.
Let's go.
Good to talk to you,
all right,
George,
fellas.
and George.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Man, it's always good to talk with some good folks. And Matthew, my wife is listening, and I say this all the time. I'm about to end this. Pro Box said, yes, they did. They did. But that's their right. They wanted to upgrade, so they say. So there you go. Dreg Killer. One more thing. Who do you guys see beating Matias? That's a great question. I want to see how he looks. He's fighting in June or July. So I want to see how he looks in that fight. I might have said Teofimo Lopez before, but not the way he looked against Jermaine Ortiz. So he might be the wild card. Chris and Paulie always said he's gotten, they think his lack of defense is going to lead to his downfalling. We'll see. He brings it, man. He brings it. So I just want to leave everybody with this one last time. And again, shout out to the inevitable D Block who posted this on X, creating the worst prize fighter. I might have argued with one or two things, but that's pretty funny, especially Adrian Broner's punch count. And Yuriorkis Gamboa's reach. So there you go. We got some fights coming up on Friday. We're going to talk some more boxing soon. Appreciate everyone out there. Make sure you like and subscribe. Over 8,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So we will talk some more boxing soon.